Imagine this scene. Before you lie two fruits, an apple and a banana. A simple choice awaits you. Pick one. Whatever option you selected, you likely believe it was entirely your decision. This is what we commonly call free will, the cherished notion that we are the sole authors of our destiny, that when faced with multiple choices, whatever decision we make stems completely from our autonomous self. We believe we possess the power of free choice, the ability to determine our own path through life's endless crossroads. But what if this fundamental belief is merely an illusion? What if this sense of agency, perhaps the most intimate experience of being human, is nothing more than a sophisticated mirage created by our brains? What if I told you that free will, as we understand it, is a myth? That we are, at our most fundamental level, simply collections of atoms reacting to stimuli in ways that could, theoretically, be predetermined. Consider this thought experiment. If you chose the banana at the beginning and we could somehow turn back time, placing you in the exact same circumstances with the exact same neurological state, if free will truly exists as we imagine it, you should be able to demonstrate this by selecting the apple instead. But what if I told you that under identical conditions, you would invariably choose the banana again? What if the outcome is already determined before you even become aware of making a choice? Even more unsettling, what if I told you that modern neuroscience has developed methods to predict which option you'll select approximately 300 milliseconds before you consciously make your decision? With astonishing accuracy. This isn't science fiction. In the 1980s, a physiologist named Benjamin Libet conducted revolutionary experiments using electroencephalography, EEG, that challenged our fundamental understanding of volition and consciousness. Libet's experiments, groundbreaking for their time, demonstrated something profound. By monitoring the electrical activity in a person's brain, he could detect that the brain was preparing for movement approximately 300 milliseconds before the person reported being consciously aware of their decision to move. This finding suggested something revolutionary and deeply disturbing, that before we consciously decide to move our bodies, the decision has already been made at a subconscious level. We merely think we're making the choice after it has already been determined. Subsequent research has only strengthened this unsettling conclusion. In a similar but more advanced study, participants were asked to press one of two buttons while observing a clock with a random sequence of letters on a screen, using functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, a technology that measures brain activity by detecting changes in blood flow. Researchers discovered they could predict which button a participant would press an astonishing 7 to 10 seconds before the person became consciously aware of their own decision. These findings point to a single, profound conclusion: seconds before you consciously select the banana or the apple, your brain has already made that decision for you in the neural machinery of your subconscious. It is only after this unconscious decision has been made that your conscious mind becomes aware of it, creating the convincing illusion that you are in the process of making a choice. The experience we call free will appears to be merely our conscious mind observing and rationalizing decisions that have already been determined in the deepest recesses of our brains. Think about it. The brain, like the heart, operates largely beyond our conscious control. We don't tell our hearts to beat or our lungs to breathe, they just do. Similarly, it seems our decisions emerge from neural processes that operate outside the realm of consciousness. What we experience as conscious decision-making, the very essence of what we call free will, may be simply a visualization of events that the brain has already set in motion without our conscious input or control. The challenges to free will extend beyond the revelations of neuroscience. For as long as human societies have existed, we've intuitively understood the profound influence of external factors on our decision-making processes. We recognize this in common wisdom expressed through idioms like, "takes a village to raise a child," and "you are the product of your environment." These folk insights acknowledge that our upbringing, our parents, the society we grew up in, All these factors significantly influence our decision-making processes and shape the people we become. Consider someone born into a deeply religious family. Is it surprising that they'll likely maintain religious beliefs throughout their lives? Their worldview, values, and decisions are profoundly shaped by this early conditioning, not by some independent choice made in a vacuum. This cultural and familial programming forms the foundation of our decision-making architecture, limiting the range of choices we'll even consider. Taking this a step further, we must confront the role of genetics in our choices. Charles Darwin's theory of evolution introduced the revolutionary idea that if species evolve, then traits like intelligence must be hereditary. Intelligence, our capacity to reason, analyze, and make effective decisions, is a characteristic that helps us navigate life's challenges. While education can certainly expand our knowledge base, our fundamental intellectual capacities are largely determined by our genetic inheritance. This raises a profound question. If some people cannot make certain intelligent choices not because they don't want to but because their genetic endowment doesn't support such cognition, can we truly say they have the freedom to make those choices? Their fate seems predetermined by their genes, constraining the options genuinely available to them. The issue extends beyond the cards we're dealt at birth to our ability to play those cards effectively. Some people are naturally better at strategic thinking, emotional regulation, or risk assessment, all crucial components of decision-making. How can we all truly have equal freedom to determine our fate when we begin life with such vastly different cognitive, emotional, and neurological resources? When examined critically through the lens of modern science, the entire concept of free will begin to crumble. Researchers have increasingly come to the conclusion that believing in free will resembles believing in a religious doctrine. Neither aligns with our current understanding of the physical laws governing the universe. Consider this fundamental challenge: if free will truly exists, and if choice is something more than just a complex chemical process unfolding in our brains, then why can substances like alcohol and antipsychotic medications so dramatically alter a person's behavior and decision-making? The person who makes reckless decisions while intoxicated is experiencing a chemical alteration of their brain function, not exercising some independent will that transcends their neurobiology. Even more dramatically, we've witnessed cases where brain tumors have transformed people's most fundamental characteristics and moral choices. Take the case of Domenico Mediello, who for 30 years served as a respected pediatrician, beloved by patients and parents alike. In 2012, he faced shocking accusations of making pedophilic advances toward his female patients. Subsequent neuroscientific investigation revealed a 4-inch tumor growing at the base of his brain that had fundamentally altered his behavior and impulse control. This isn't an isolated case. In 2002, an American schoolteacher suddenly began experiencing pedophilic urges toward his stepdaughter, behavior completely at odds with his previous character. Upon his arrest, medical examination discovered an egg-sized tumor growing in regions of his brain responsible for decision-making and impulse control. After the tumor was removed, his pedophilic urges vanished completely, allowing him to return to his family. These cases force us to confront a profound question. If free will exists as we commonly understand it, why can removing a physical growth from the brain completely change a person's moral choices and sexual preferences? Is it possible that by altering brain chemistry or physical composition, we can fundamentally change a person's beliefs, ideologies, and choices, without them having any ability to resist these changes through their will? The implications of these neuroscientific insights extend far beyond philosophical debate into the practical realms of law and justice. In recent years, defense attorneys have increasingly introduced MRI scans and other neurological evidence to argue that their clients' criminal actions resulted not from free choice, but from brain abnormalities or malfunctions that compromised their decision-making capacity. This approach raises profound questions about our legal system. which is fundamentally built upon the concept of moral responsibility grounded in free will. If individuals did not have the freedom to choose different actions due to neurological impairment, is it just to impose the heaviest punishments for actions they could not control? Consider the case of Brian Dugan, who faced execution in Illinois after pleading guilty to murdering a 10-year-old girl. MRI scans revealed significant abnormalities affecting his brain's decision-making processes. His legal team argued that the court should spare him capital punishment because his actions, while heinous, resulted from neurological dysfunction rather than freely chosen evil intent. While Dugan remained on death row, his case contributed to ongoing debates that ultimately led Illinois to abolish capital punishment altogether. Such cases force us to reconsider the foundations of our criminal